Today, we officially say goodbye to these nasty, old-style waterers for good. Hello everybody, staying here from Rocky Creek. If you're new to our channel, thank you for checking us out. If you end up liking this content, please go down there, hit that subscribe button and smash that like. If you're already one of our followers, we thank you for coming along with us again, and we look forward to spending another day with you, and hopefully what we share with you today will benefit you in the future. So I have stuff right here to make another one of our DIY waterers utilizing some poultry watering cups. But we have some big news. So these cups are different. Those of y'all that follow me know that I tried various poultry cups several years ago and they were all a fail. Most of them were those ones that had the little yellow thing that the chicken depresses with their beak, and I had no success. I tried numerous times, wasted money, no success at all. And then one of our subscribers from the early stages of our channel told me about a company called Renicoop and their poultry cups. And those things worked awesome. I'll share with you my original video right here if you want to check that out, where that changed my opinions of poultry cups. Well, now I got even better news. I have become a big fan of Renicoop. I have bought a couple of their products thus far, and everything I have been very pleased with. And those I purchased on my own. And so the reviews that I gave you on that was 100% honest, and it was my own money spent. Well, Renicoop recently contacted me about becoming a product tester for them and giving them feedback on some new or improved items that they have. And so I have received their first item. And when they sent me and said, we have improved our poultry cups, I was sort of amazed, because I already think your poultry cups are the best ones on the market. How could they get better? Well, it's pretty neat what they've done. So let me show you some changes that they've done. So they sent me their 6-pack of their new and improved poultry watering cups. And one great thing about Renicoop, the 2 times that I have purchased poultry cups from them, whatever quantity I've ordered, they always send me 1 extra. And so this particular one is supposed to be a 6-pack, and there are 7 cups in here. So I don't know if they do that with every order, but all the orders that I personally have done, that I paid for, I always got 1 extra one, and it has a little note saying 1 extra on us. So who knows? You may actually get more than what you think. See, like this right here, 1 extra on us. Pretty cool little doodad. So with these new poultry cups, there's 2 main new features involved with these. The first big improvement that they've done with these, which is the only hurdle that I've seen that I've had, is that over time, a little bit of debris will get down into these cups because they're so deep. And it doesn't get bad, but you get a little bit of dirt or anything down in there that settles. And usually all I do is I take a garden hose and I'll spray it into the cup, and it kind of forces the dirt back out. Or I'll take my finger, loosen it up, tip it over just briefly, and then let it refill back up. Well, they have actually simplified the cleaning process on these. And by doing so, all it is they actually built an insert to the cup itself. So the original one was just like this, but now if you want to clean it out, you can slide out this insert, rinse it off, whole lot easier than having to mess with the whole watering system. You can leave the cup intact and then just drop it right back in like so. Pretty nifty idea. And then the second new thing that they've done is they have created this white clip now that has these little hooks here where you could actually mount these to like a wire cage. So if your chicken coop has wire on it, you could actually hook these cups onto the wire, run tubing, and have water flowing that way for easier refill. Or you could just simply have your bucket outside, this part through, hooked to here. To me, this would be most practical if you're going to run tubing to maybe a large system that's giving water to it, or maybe you have a water catchment system, and that'll allow you to continuously fill these. with these being stabilized to the wire on a coop. And then to give you additional security other than just these, they actually come with a little screw-on piece that goes through like so. And then on the other side, you would have this wing nut that goes on here and actually would screw on like so to give you stabilization on both the top and the bottom of the cup. So it's pretty daggone cool, and they've really improved this. And the fact that shows me what kind of a company that Renicoop is you already had a product that in my opinion was the best, but you still were like, how can we make this better? So it's pretty neat. So we're excited to give these things a try. Now my plan just for today is not gonna be to hook these onto wire. If some of y'all have followed me in the past, I do have, it actually used to be an old rabbit hutch that we had portable on the grass that has actually become almost like my sick chicken quarters. When I have a chicken that doesn't seem to be acting right and I want to be cautious, I go ahead and move them into this particular cage and I isolate them until I know that they're in good health, and then I return them back. Well, one big hurdle that I've had with that is putting feed and water in there. I'll use a single water or a single feeder, and because it's not a huge space, they tend to knock it over, and I'm having to deal with that a lot. So I actually do have plans to try to run one of these with some tubing to some other form of a water, so that way I have a more steady type platform for them to have water in the future. But unfortunately, when I went to the hardware store, they were all out of tubing to fit this, so I can't do that right now, but I'll bring you a future video here very soon about that. What we're gonna do right now though is you can still use these as a standard water, so we're gonna go ahead and plug into this 5-gallon bucket because I'm going out of town very soon, and Mrs. Rocky Creek's gonna be managing the homestead on her own, so I wanna give her as much waters as I can for the poultry, so hopefully she doesn't have to mess with any of that. But I wanna show you, one of the things that I really like about these cups is I have never used silicone, where a lot of them get super messy trying to do that. The washers that they provide with these wing nuts, I've yet to have a cup leak, and we've been using them for quite a while now. So let me show you how quickly we can put this water together, and I'm gonna time it so you can see how fast it goes. So first thing I need to do is I'm gonna mark where I'm gonna drill my holes for the cups. The rule of thumb from Renicoop is they say that you wanna make it to where the cups are gonna sit about shoulder height with the chicken. For us, our coop sits a little bit off the ground, and it has a little ledge that already have some coop water sitting, and so it tends to naturally put it at their shoulder length. If you want to try to quick and easy other option in the middle, if you set it on a center block, or you can adjust your blocks that it's on, that can help get it to more where you want it to be. But with these particular ones, I just usually use, like this has some printing on it, I'm just going to actually utilize a couple of these markings on here to help me eyeball where I want to drill these and have them equally spaced out. So they sent me 7 cups overall. I'm gonna go ahead and put 5 on this water, and I'm gonna save the other 2 for the future tests that I told you that I'd like to do. And so all I've done is I've ended up using some of the stuff that they have on here already to give me an evenly spacing. But if I needed to give you a measurement, I'm basically 2 inches up from the bottom of the bucket. So it is 10:50 in the morning right now. We're gonna see how long this takes for me to put this thing together. The only other item that you need in order to do this, other than your 5-gallon bucket, is a drill with a 3/8 inch drill bit. And I will also need, I use a 1/8 inch drill bit to drill a little hole in the top of the lid here, and I'll explain why that's the case when we get to that point. But other than that, I just need to drill my holes and screw the cups in and fill her up with some water. So let's go. After you get your holes done, you want to come back inside the bucket and get off any little pieces like from the drill. You'll get these plastic pieces. You want to get all that out, and we'll give it a good rinsing before we utilize it in the coop as well to make sure we get any and all little shavings out of there. So you can see hole 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good to go. We got all the little pieces off of it. Now just got to screw the cups in. Probably the hardest thing, honestly, with putting these cups in is you do got to give a good little firm press as you screw these things in to get that initial bite. And then after that, it just kind of rolls on pretty quick and easy. All right, so you can see got all 5 of the poultry cups on here, evenly spaced. You can see where they've been threaded through. So now I just need to take the washers from each of them and get them screwed in on the inside. Now these washers are plastic, so you want to get them snug, but you don't want to get them way overly tight. I can tell you from my experience with these cups thus far, usually I get them to where they're like right at finger tight and just give them a little bit of like a quarter turn, and I've yet to have an issue with any of my cups leaking. And that's been even with the meat chickens. They were pretty hard on the cups. They'd push them around, knock them around. Sometimes they get a little crooked where they've been turned in their hole a little bit, but I just kind of returned them and they were good to go, and I didn't notice any water ever coming out of them. If anything, it was just OCD kicking in, wanting to make sure that all the cups were uniformly lined up. But I even had, when it got low, the meat chickens actually knocked the whole water over a couple times and everything was perfectly fine. I kind of like this blue bucket that they had as a fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. It is still food grade, so make sure you do get that. But it kind of looks cool with the colors. So there you go. As you can see, wing nuts are on all of them right there. There is a little debris in there, which is what I talked about. We'll give it a good rinse before we actually utilize it. But that's pretty much it. Now I just gotta get the lid ready. Now I mentioned you're gonna wanna get a small drill bit. It doesn't have to be a 1/8 inch. This is just what I've used. I wanna use the smallest one possible that still gets the job done. The reason for this, if you do not put a hole in your lid and you secure this lid down, it'll actually create a vacuum. And when this vacuum happens, it's not gonna allow water to flow into the cups. So you gotta have a way for that air to release. So either you can gently just rest the lid on top, but then you run the risk of chickens knocking it off or some other debris getting in there possibly if you get a bad storm. So if you want to secure it properly, just do the smallest hole possible that still allows enough air to escape that you don't have that issue. I have found that 1/8 inch works well, and I haven't really had an issue with like mosquito larvae or other bugs getting in there, and very little tiny bits of debris, which every so often, because your cups do sit about 1 inch or 2 inches off the bottom, you do need to go ahead and clean these out periodically. Not near as much as a standard water, but you do got standing water at the bottom over a period of time, and you don't want that. So when you clean that part out, that's kind of a good time to, check and make sure you're not having any issues. But with 1/8 inch, I've always been pretty good. My water stayed plenty clean, so that's what I would recommend if I was you. Placement of the hole really doesn't matter. I just pick a little spot, and that's it. Just one little tiny hole right there, and the percentage of likelihood of some mosquitoes or anything getting in there in that tiny hole out of that whole lid is pretty far and few between. So there it is. DIY Renicoop 5-cup watering system, 5 gallons of water. I started it at, it was technically 10:51. It is now 11:02. While talking to you along the way, instead of just getting it done, it literally took me, 10 minutes, 11 minutes to do this. So, and I have very little money invested, but trust me, once you do this, it's a game changer. Let's fill it up and see how it does, and let's put it to the test with the chickens. You think that's gonna work? What do you think of that? Huh? Oh, you don't want the lid? Oh, hey, I don't think we're gonna be throwing the fish in there. That's not what that's for. Yeah. Oh, you can't reach it. It's too deep. All right, you keep your fishy. Fishy doesn't go in the chicken water. So if you're new to our channel and you didn't see when I first introduced you all to Renicoop's cups, how they work is that they are a gravity fed cup that's also weight driven. So instead of that plunger to push to depress it and allow water to flow, this cup, if you can see, it actually goes up and down. And so when it's up, it's kind of like a float in a toilet. So when it's up, it knows it needs water. And then as the weight of the water fills the cup and it drops, that cuts off the water flow. And some of the key components to this is, number one, that makes sure that there's always water flow for the chicken as needed, and it's not relying upon the chicken doing something to make it flow. So you should always have a water supply. But then also, secondly, these cups are much bigger and much deeper. And when the chickens go to drink in it, most of them, their wattles will actually go into the water as well. They say that when those wattles gets that cool water on it, it helps cool down the chicken, especially when it's really hot. So that's what the purpose is behind this. So we're gonna go ahead and get this filled up and see how it goes. That's why I have it also resting on this 5-gallon bucket, so it gives the cup an opportunity to drop, because if it don't, the water's just gonna keep flowing. So let's fill it up and let's see what happens. Now the whole bucket's wet because I rinsed it off, make sure we got all the debris off before filling it. So now I'm just going to dry off all the water, make sure we don't have any leaks. So you can see, they're good and dry. They're pretty much all like that. So they definitely look like they're working. And even though we're not using these for the hooks onto the wire, I actually kind of liked it because it used to be a big gap in between here. And these now actually up against the bucket almost create more stability for the actual cup, which I think would decrease the chances of these things breaking if a chicken were to do something to it, or something fell on it, or who knows, you accidentally bumped it or stepped on it. So even if we're not using them on a wire, I think it definitely gives it a stronger hinge point right there, which should increase the stability and structure of this. So let's take it down in the coop, let the chickens try it out. The way the cups are on there, I don't really like how far I have to hang it off the edge in order to keep them clear of the platform, so that way the water doesn't keep flowing. So I'm gonna see if I can't find something to be able to prop it up, and we'll just set it in the middle of the run. There we go, that works out well. So you can see a little bit of dirt got in there just from moving around, whether on my hands or whatever. Or it could be dirt on the beak of a chicken when they've been dust bathing. All I would need to do is come in here, but it does take a little bit of effort. And I just pop it out like so. Dump it out, pop it back in. The water you saw shooting out is just where it's trying to flow back in the cup because it thinks it needs water. But that's really all that is, and it's good to go after that. Versus, I purposefully didn't clean these ones out, but that's what I'm talking about. And so typically what I have to do is either spray it with a hose to where it forces it out, or I use my finger to get a bunch of it out, then I turn it over and it kind of clears it out that way. So this helps you deal with that far better. Then I also told you about how those white clips almost create more stability. So you can see this gap here, that gap is gone. You can see how that flexes. And over time, I could see that creating problems with your seal. So even though those aren't being used on a cage, where that white part now bumps up all the way against the actual bucket, like so, I think that's going to eliminate, you don't have that flex like we were having over there with that one. So I still think these clips are going to be a huge benefit, even if you're using it in this fashion. I think those cups are going to be fantastic. We now have 13 gallons of water readily available for our chickens. And apparently the I Am Samanis must love the blue. Look at all of them. Now the only downfall to the 5-gallon water style is that the chickens will jump up top of there, which those new inserts should be a great help to get any manure out that they may drop in there, but chickens seem to be loving it. So guys, we're gonna wrap things up here today with where we're at. Mrs. Rocky Creek and Madison went on to a friend's house to go swim in the pool. So I gotta watch little man for the rest of the day. It's gonna be up close to 100 degrees today, so it's a good pool day. But anyways guys, I tell you with 100% honesty though, in all reality, Renicoop's products are actually some that I have been most pleased with compared to other poultry products. Now, they offer a huge amount of products and I have only tried a handful of them. But of the ones I've tried so far, I really like them. And if you are thinking about doing a poultry water cup style system, I highly encourage you to check them out. Whether you're getting the standard cup or if you're going to be getting their new and improved wire hanging cup, I'm pretty sure you'll be very pleased with whichever one you choose to do. You are out of control. So guys, for me and this wild boy right here, come here little crazy boy. You want to tell everybody bye? Huh? So guys, for me and this crazy fool right here, we hope everybody has a wonderful day. We're going to have plenty more Renicoop products to share with you and to let you know the goods, the bads, and the uglies. But as of right now, this particular product, I have nothing but good to tell you about. But we'll bring more to you here in the very near future. We thank y'all for hanging out with us. We thank Renicoop for giving us this opportunity. And guys, we hope everybody's doing well. And y'all take care. And we'll see you here real soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks, guys. You want to tell him bye? He's just going to eat a fish. Y'all be good. I see you. We all see you.